One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Good evening, everybody. I hope you guys are ready for what I think is going to be a very, very, very historic and important evening. If what I'm hearing is correct, this may be very, very indeed historic. But before I begin, I want to get two things right out of the way. First and foremost, I told you guys earlier that I was going to give away another fishing trip, because the first person that won lives down here, so they don't need to be flown down. They're going to be here. So I'm going to pick a new winner or an additional winner right now. So let me go here, and I got to do it quickly so I don't show the person's name or anything. Personal information. Hold on. Let me get this. Okay, boom. And it's loading. Let's see who the new winner is. The next winner. And it's complete. And his name is, I don't know if you can see it over here, but I'm going to see if I can show it there. I can show it down there. You guys can see it. That person's name is Stephen Calderman. Stephen Calderman, you are the additional winner. You're going to get to fly down here. Two people in your family or, friend or whatever. We're going to fly you down here. We're going to make sure that you get a great hotel room. Robin and I are going to go out to dinner with you. And then I'm going to bless you because you're going to have to get out in the ocean and go fishing. And if you're fishing with Robin, there's no turning around. You don't get to come back. You got to go. And I just hope you have your sea legs under you. That being said, congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you right after the first of the year. So, Stephen Calderman, you are the next winner. Let me see if I can get a little hint as to where Stephen is from. Stephen, it's going to be a nice trip for Stephen. Stephen is from Mount Carmel, Illinois. So he's coming from the dead of winter in Mount Carmel, Illinois, probably outside of Chicago someplace, and he's going to get to come on down here, fly down, and get jiggy with it. Big Willie style down here on the beach. So congratulations. The second thing I want to get out of the way, because we got so much coming, is I want to talk to you guys about this thing here. This is a bearskin hoodie. It's I'm in Florida. It gets kind of cool sometimes, but I know some of you people living up north, you might need this. And if you're stuck wondering, what the heck do you get the guy in your family for Christmas? Listen up. This bearskin hoodie. You can see it. Okay, I'm just moving around. I'm being a spokesmodel right now. I'm letting you see how it is and everything. It's pretty warm. It's got pockets for pockets. It's got pockets inside of pockets. There's pockets everywhere. And they told me to say this is for the guy in your life, but I don't know about that. I think because Robin loves them, it's also for the woman in your life. Skip socks and thermal underwear, skip the gift card. This year, get him or her something they will actually use, especially this winter. You should get them a bearskin hoodie. These hoodies are built for serious cold weather. It's got 340 GSM of bearskin fleece. Very nice. 10 legit pockets all over the place. I mean, seriously, there are pockets everywhere in this thing. And it gives you a nice, tight, muscular fit. Even at my size, it's nice and tight. And it even zips into a heavy storm rain jacket to turn into full winter waterproof armor. You've got to take a look at this because I absolutely love it. Even though I am not in a cold weather area, I love the idea of wearing this bearskin. The other day when I was sick, and I had to take Midas out in the morning. And in the morning, it's about 60. Don't come at me. It's about 60, 62 sometimes, a little chilly. And so I go out there with this, and I'm fine. Those of you guys out there, hiking and doing certain things, hunting, traveling, or just if you hate being in the cold, this is the last hoodie you will ever need. And the best part about the entire thing with bearskin is running their biggest deal of the year at 60% off for Christmas with extended returns. I doubt you'll have to return anything. Plus, it's got free shipping, U.S. shipping from their Kentucky warehouse. So here's how to get yours. As you can see on the screen, all you have to do is text Barry to 36912. That's Barry to 36912. And they'll shoot you a link on your phone to lock in your pricing, your 60% off, and then you can just buy it there. And then when you shop with Bearskin, you're not just giving a killer gift like this hoodie. You're also supporting the fallen outdoors and the Hope for the Warriors Veterans Program. This Christmas, don't give them another stocking filler. Get them a bearskin hoodie. Get her a bearskin hoodie. It's 60% off. Just go ahead and dial or text Barry to 36912. I think it's a great deal. I think it's an amazing deal. And trust me, it is warm in here. They're like, Barry, I want you to wear it. I'm like, you realize I live in Florida, right? I'm going to burn up. But in any event, I want to play for you. Many of you who were in our earlier show saw President Trump honoring the fallen soldiers as they came back at the ceremony to accept the bodies. So after that, excuse me, he didn't have much to say, but after that, he had a small 2-minute press conference. 2 minutes. But in that press conference, he said a whole lot.
That was a beautiful event, sir.
Oh, and I'm sorry they still haven't invented anything in 2025 to extract the airplane jet noise, so you're going to have to listen up.
3 great people. And they're now looking down, and their parents and wives, all of the people that were there were, devastated, but great people. Great people. So thank you very much for being there.
Susie House going to remain your chief of staff there in the
You're doing a great job.
Is the goal of the blockade with Venezuela to regime change?
It's a blockade. Not going to let anybody going through that should be going through. You remember they took all of our energy rights. They took all of our oil from not that long ago, and we want it back. But they took it. They illegally took it.
Tell you why he's planning to leave the FBI?
Oh, Dan did a great job. I think he wants to go back to his show.
All right, so we're going to talk about that right after we finish this with President Trump, about Dan Bongino leaving the FBI. I have an idea what's going on. So he's from down here. So there's a lot of people in South Florida who are talking about what exactly is going on.
Combination cash Miguel.
Yeah, I do.
You mentioned getting land back from Venezuela. What land?
Getting land, oil rights, whatever we had, they took it away because we had a president that maybe wasn't watching. But they're not going to do that. We want it back. They took our oil rights. We had a lot of oil there. As you know, they threw our companies out, and we want it back.
What's the message this evening?
Well, I think the message this evening is we inherited a mess, and we've done a great job, and we continue to. And our country is going to be stronger than ever before. Very soon. Thank you very much, everybody.
Mr. President, you can say.
So it was very, very short and to the point. He didn't spend a lot of time talking to the press. Didn't see any other gaggle on White House One Air Force One as he was coming back. That was it. And had a look on his face, and you have to wonder, was the look on his face because of the ceremony, dignified reception that he had of the bodies, or was the look on his face based upon what's about to happen tonight, most likely? But before we get into that, I want to talk about the Dan Bongino thing first. And I don't know if you've heard it yet in terms of what speculation is, but there is some speculation, and some of it makes a lot of sense. I want you to listen to something. This was Dan Bongino a couple months ago.
I mean, I gave up everything for this. I mean, you know, my wife is struggling. I'm not a victim. I'm not Jim Comey. It's fine. I did this, and I'm proud I did it. But if you think we're there for tea and crumpets, well, I mean, Cash is there all day. We share it. Our offices are linked. He turns on the faucet. I hear it. He's there he gets in at like 6 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't leave till 7 at night. You know, I'm in there at 7:30 in the morning. He uses the gym. I work out in my apartment. But I stare at these four walls all day in D.C., you know, by myself, divorced from my wife. Not divorced, but I mean separated, divorced. And it's hard. I mean, you know, we love each other, and it's hard to be apart.
But you're doing some great work. You're straightening out the FBI. You're moving buildings. There's a lot of change.
I got one more thing.
Was that Freudian, what you just heard? Did you listen to what Dan said? And the D word just kind of fell out of his mouth, and he went, no. We're not getting divorced or anything. But he actually caught himself on that. So a lot of what's being talked about down here is that Dan is coming back to South Florida, not just for his show. His show is going to be fine. When he decides he wants to get on the microphone, and once he clears everything and whatever his NDA is going to be, don't expect him to be able to talk too much about what he saw. I saw a bunch of people on X tonight, and a lot of people were saying, oh, I can't wait to hear Dan tell us what happened. Now, you just move on to some other subjects. You're not going to hear. I would venture to almost confirm right now, you are not going to hear Dan Bongino speak too much about what happened in the White House or in the FBI. They're going to make sure he's clamped down in that regards. But, I mean, he's got plenty of stuff he can talk about and give his opinion on. But one of the things that may come out is that, and I don't know, I just know what people have said down here today, is that he and his wife were having a tough time. And I don't mean interpersonally. That's none of our business in terms of anything they were having interpersonally. I'm not going there. What I'm saying is he was up in Washington, D.C. She was still down here. She never moved up there. And so Dan, as he mentioned about his apartment, you know, what has it been? Almost just a 8, 9 months, and he hasn't seen his wife that much. And I don't care who you are, that's got to be very, very, very tough on somebody. The person you love, and you're used to seeing him 24/7, pretty much, because she works with his organization. So you go home, you have dinner, you go to bed, you wake up, you go to work, go over to the studio. She's there, and all of a sudden, gone. And I don't know. I talked to Robin about it earlier when I heard it. I said, Robin, how would it be? She was very tough. She goes, we don't have little kids, so I'd probably be up there. I don't want to be up in Washington. I want to be down here in South Florida. I don't want to go up there. But I have to respect, if that's the job that you're going to do, that, I've got to just be down here. So I respect him if that is what caused this, if that's what it was, if it's, I got to go back to my family. Not only do I respect it, I applaud it. A man looking at his priorities and saying, yes, I want to help the country. I'll do everything I can, but I got to take care of my wife, my family. That's got to come first. You'll be able to find other people to do this job. Don't worry about that. You'll find other people to be deputy director of the FBI. But there's only one dad. There's only one husband. And I don't want there to be a substitute. I don't want somebody else to step in. So if that ends up being the reason, don't be mad. Don't be upset. Applaud him that he's like, you know what? I got to take care of business at home first. And if that is the case, then nobody should have a problem, and nobody should be denigrating him. Whatever I'm doing, if I'm in the middle of a show and Robin said, I need you, I'm off. Boom, done, gone, bye. Same thing if Ashley's up in North Carolina. Hey, I need you up here. Boom, we're done. Let's go. Nothing gets in front of family. And so if that's what it was, then hats off and a salute. Of course, it's not going to be tough to find a replacement. In fact, many people have already talked about the replacement. We're talking about, says Dan Bongino to leave the FBI director job with a rumored replacement already waiting in the wings. And I hate these commercials. Boom. FBI Director Dan Bongino will resign his position with less than a year on the job. And they're talking about this guy, where is it? Down here, being the replacement. One source has said that Bongino's remember, I don't know, a couple of months ago, they named co-deputy directors. So it wasn't just Dan by himself. There was another guy there, which is probably, he was training on the job. And so this guy here, that his name is Andrew Bailey, it says Bongino's co-deputy director, Andrew Bailey, who gained his position in September, will take on the full traditional duties of the role of deputy director. So they already have their guy. It's going to be seamless in that regard. So don't worry about the country not having somebody to jump in. They're going to be okay. And then I saw this by Vince. Vince is the guy who's been holding the seat for Dan Bongino. And he's the one that's been doing Dan's show, every single day, done very well. And he says, getting a lot of texts and messages, easier to address here. No, I'm not worried about Dan going back to quote his own show. On the contrary, I've been looking forward to it. He's leaving with a great record, and he goes through all the things that Dan did. And he goes, I'm completely grateful to Dan and Paula, Dan's wife, for entrusting his incredible audience to me this year. It's been a total blast to get to know the Bongino Army up close and personal. They're devoted patriots, plus they're hilarious. As for the big national radio show, never fear, I'm here to stay. Talk to you on both shows on Thursday. So it seems as though everybody knew it was coming. Everybody has made their plans, and all the chips are going to fall in place. So that being said, don't worry about it. Not that you were, but I'm saying there's no reason to have all kinds of crazy speculation. It appears he just wants to come home. And I personally don't have any problem with that. He's not leaving the administration in a pinch. Bailey is sitting there waiting to assume control. He's been there since September. And I got to believe that he was put in as co-deputy director for exactly this reason. So I think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be okay. But, Dan will be back, it seems. He will be back here, and will be taking care of business. Let me take a few comments before I go too far here and let you guys see what you guys got to say. Brandy says, tough job, rough job. Bongino had cancer, and he has a family, so I have no ill feelings towards him. I hope he will go back to podcasting again. I had put up a poll, and in that poll, 88% of you said, yeah, even more so that you'd be looking for him to come back. I don't know about the other 12%, why they'd be upset because he quit, but if it is indeed something about his family, I think, give him a shot there. Kash Patel responded. Kash Patel responded and said, Dan is the, hold on one second. I got to move that comment. Where is that? Dan is the best partner I could have asked for helping restore this FBI. He brought critical reforms to make the organization more efficient. He led the successful summer heat op. He served as the people's choice for transparency and delivered major breakthroughs in long unsolved cases like the pipe bomb investigation. And that's only a small part of the work he went about every single day delivering for America. He not only completed his mission, he far exceeded it. We will miss him, but I'm thankful he accepted the call to serve our country as better and safe for it. And of course, you've got people out there today, because Dan is leaving, saying, well, Kash, why don't you hit the bricks too? Which isn't fair to Kash. I understand all the stuff surrounding him and his girlfriend, the country music singer, and her entourage and all that stuff, but come on, man, let's pump the brakes on that stuff. There'll be time to attack after we see how the dust settles here. I thought I saw something earlier by Pam Bondi. She responded as well. I don't think I cut that. No, I didn't cut it. But she responded and wished him, very, very short message, but she wished him well in addition. So everything's going to be okay. We're good. So let's talk about tonight. I'll be right back, and then we'll get into tonight.
Hey everybody, Barry has a couple things to let you know about. Fanfare is giving away a free fishing trip. We're going to fly you and a guest down to South Florida for a dinner private group on X. Go to fanfareshop.org/group and join 18,000 fellow patriots. It's a safe space for patriots as it's curated and moderated. Again, that's fanfareshop.org/group. One more thing, if you'd like to be a part of the show, submit a 60-second video by going to fanfareshop.org/submit video. Last, but certainly not least, if you'd like to request a free Bible, please go to fanfareshop.org/Bible. We have a long list, but we're getting them out as soon as we can. Again, that's fanfareshop.org/Bible. Thanks for being a part of the Fanfare family. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
I got to tell you something about the Bibles. Lately, I don't know, over the last 2 weeks, we've probably got 4 or 5 Bibles returned. People are putting, when they sign up, they're putting in their P.O. boxes instead of their mailing address, which is fine, except if you have a forward on your P.O. box, meaning when something comes into your mail drop, they're supposed to automatically forward it. They can't forward these. It's a media mail. It's a book. They won't forward it. They kick it back to me. So if you signed up and you put in a P.O. box, may not get it if you have forwarding on your mailbox. So understand, if you're signing up, it would be better to use an actual physical mailing address or a P.O. box that you don't have forwarding on. If you have forwarding on it, you're taking a 50-50 shot whether you're going to get it, and then we're sending it, and then we're getting it back, meaning we wasted our money sending it to you, and then we have no way to send it to you. We have no way to get it to you again because it's been kicked back. So if you went through the trouble of signing up, make sure you can get delivery of it. Otherwise, what are we doing? You're just going around in circles. All right, so with that, I want to talk to you about what's going to happen tonight. Somebody had said something yesterday, and they're like, "Oh, Barry, I think you're jumping on the wrong thing. You said that the whole 17 part about it, and then I talked about how I think it's happening. It's my fellow Americans speech and everything else." And the person said, "Well, Caroline Levitt said it's no big deal. He's going to talk about his accomplishments." And I knew then that people aren't getting it. There's no way Caroline Levitt was going to say what really is going on. So unless something happened in the last, 24 hours, I'm pretty confident we know what's about to happen. So let me show you something that has transpired literally in the last couple of hours. This is very important given to what I think we're going to hear. The House rejects Venezuela war powers resolution by 2 votes, which now clears path for Trump hours before the address. The House narrowly defeated a Democratic-led war powers resolution that would have required congressional approval before military action against Venezuela. The vote was 213 to 211, with 9 members not voting. So you have to sit back and go, why do you think the Democrats were pushing to have some sort of declaration voted on saying you can't attack Venezuela? Anybody find it odd that all of a sudden you just want to do a law and say, no, you can't attack Venezuela? I know you love drug dealers, but damn, you really want to go there? Well, it didn't work. It was close, but it didn't work. 213 to 211. The 2-vote margin gives Trump wide legal room to escalate just hours before he's expected to address the nation at 9 o'clock. Republicans Massey, I don't even know why we're calling these people Republicans at this point, but Massey, MTG, and Don Bacon. Don Bacon, what a useless husk of a man he is. Crossed party lines to support the resolution. 2 Texas Democrats voted no, helping to sink it. A separate effort to halt the ongoing boat strikes also failed. The resolution was designed to stop unauthorized hostilities targeting the Maduro regime. Its defeat means the executive branch keeps the initiative as tensions with Caracas rise. Supporters of the administration say operations are about counter-narcotics and national security. Some warn that Congress just surrendered its constitutional war powers. Nearly 100 people have been taken out in drug boat strikes this year, and Trump has ordered a full naval blockade and designated Venezuela a foreign terrorist organization. Lawmakers now head into recess. All right, we tried, but we got to get out of here. I got to go home. All right, yeah. The White House has a free hand. 9 p.m. tonight, the nation watches. So the timeliness of what they tried to do, they tried to stop the boat strikes. They tried to stop anything that might get ready to happen in Venezuela, and it got shot down. All right, we're going on vacation. It's over. Whatever is going to happen, whatever has been decided on, if President Trump is going to go down this route, which everybody is beginning to think that's where he's headed, you can't stop him. Which is, at this point, going to chill some people's core. You're going to see the media go ballistic. You're going to see the panicans go ballistic. Whatever Democrats stay in town or whatever, they're going to be screaming. But I think pretty much tonight, President Trump is pretty going to give them something to scream about. Something my mom used to always say to me. Shut up before I give you something to cry about. Well, I think they're going to get that. This was interesting. Marco Rubio is seen pacing tensely in the Oval Office as White House prepares for tonight's address. Secretary of State Marco Rubio was photographed reportedly pacing back and forth inside the Oval Office this evening while waiting for Trump to return from Dover Air Force Base after the dignified return. Trump, it says right here, Trump was in Delaware for the dignified transfer of the 3 Americans killed this weekend in Syria. And, down here is the pictures that they took of Rubio basically going back and forth and pacing, waiting for President Trump to come back. So he's pacing in the Oval Office. President Trump is out there doing what he's got to do with the dignified transfer. Now, what's going to happen tonight? Pay attention to this. Mario says, or wherever his source is, President Trump is expected to announce war with Venezuela in tonight's address to the nation. I don't think he'll be announcing war. I'd be very surprised if he uses the word war. The word war has legal connotations. The word war has global connotations. So I don't think he's going to use the word war. But it's pretty much the same thing. It's pretty much going to be wartime. It's your ass for Venezuela. Let's just understand we are 2 weeks from Christmas and we're about to do what he got to do. I don't know about the timing. It says Trump is reportedly expected to announce plans to launch a war with Venezuela when he addresses the nation at 9 o'clock tonight, according to high-placed Capitol Hill source who spoke to anti-war comm. Let me tell you, if he's going to be clue in here, I've never been in the military, but I'm pretty sure of this one. If he's going to announce to the nation, announce to the world that at 9 o'clock we're going to be doing something in Venezuela, more than likely right now, if that's what he's going to announce, the birds are already in the air. He doesn't want Maduro to wonder, okay, what are they coming? Anybody? No. By the time he gets to the microphone and says, my fellow Americans, it's already gone. It's already on. You don't want to give people the opportunity to do something, with your planes coming. So if this is where we're headed, I don't think they're going to wait until 9 o'clock before they actually do something. With it being 8:32 right now, I'm pretty sure if this is where he's going, it's already on. And understand, tonight this is a multi-network event. This isn't some podcast. This isn't him doing something, just putting on whitehouse.gov or on X. This is being carried by, I would venture to say, I know Fox is carrying it. I'm pretty sure all of them will be carrying this address. It will have a complete national saturation. That is how big this conversation will be. And I can't wait. I'm getting tingly about him saying the words, my fellow Americans. Some of you guys don't want to go there. You want to call it conspiratorial. we can talk about that after the address. But there are a lot of people I know who are listening in and want to hear him say, my fellow Americans. And understand, this is just one cog in the wheel. If this is what it looks like, no wonder the Democrats are getting out of town. I don't know if you've noticed today, Jack Smith was doing an 8-hour deposition. There is so much going on. Fannie Willis was giving deposition. All this stuff is happening at the same time. So let's continue with what Mario has here. He's talking about Tucker had separately confirmed the reporting on the Judging Freedom podcast. He said that members of Congress were briefed yesterday that war is coming and it will be announced in the address tonight, which would explain why they wanted to take the vote today. There are no coincidences. I'm telling you, I've been telling you, there are no coincidences. If they got briefed last night, then yeah, that's why they took the vote today. They're like, oh man, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it, isn't he? Yeah, he's gonna do it. Let's try and see if we can't get a vote to stop him. And it failed. It failed. All right, so this follows Trump's Tuesday announcement of total and complete blockade on Venezuelan oil tankers and the seizure of a tanker carrying Venezuelan crude. According to earlier reports, Trump has been briefed on military options, including strikes on government targets, that would be Maduro, special operations force to kill or capture Maduro. That would be interesting. We find out there's people dropping out of the sky. Large force deployment to capture air bases and oil fields. The administration has made it clear its goal is to oust Maduro. any attack on Venezuela without congressional authorization would be unconstitutional. That's what they're going to say. I'm going to come back to that. The House is expected to vote today on a bipartisan war resolution trying to block him. You already saw the result of that. Venezuela has requested a UN Security Council meeting for next Tuesday to discuss ongoing U.S. aggression. 9 o'clock, tune in. So people are going to say that all over the place. It is unconstitutional to do this. But you understand what he's already got in his pocket. He's already got in his pocket an unsaleable right to do what he needs to do. What am I talking about? He just said fentanyl is a weapon of mass destruction. He just said that Venezuela is a foreign, or Maduro runs a foreign terrorist organization. It's quite constitutional. It's absolutely constitutional. That's why I don't think you're going to hear a declaration of war. He is enforcing an act that he declared. They can't stop him. And so people are going to be streaming all over the media about, oh, it's so unconstitutional. But it isn't. On top of that, who knows? We may even hear something about the Monroe Doctrine today. A lot of people have been talking about the Western Hemisphere, haven't they? So there's a whole lot going on. Let me see if I want to go into some of this other stuff or I just want to wait. So gird your loins. This might get really ugly very quickly. It might trigger some Tren de Aragua insanity here in the States. Maybe that's what some of this stuff that we're seeing is happening. They're precursors. Be careful. Keep your head on a swivel. Understand what you're about to see. Let's look at some comments here. All those people in D.C. who are lawyers, can they be any more stupid? Have they not read the Constitution? No, they know what they're saying. They're hoping you don't know what's going on. See, the more they can keep you in the dark, the more that they can try and, convince people what Trump is doing is bad and we can impeach him and blah, 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 blah. South America is coming around and voting for democracy. Chile just voted for a conservative new president. Let's see. Pray for our This is very important. Pray for our military men and women who will be put in harm's way, because that's going to be something we need to think about. Monroe Doctrine, terrorist organization keeping Americans safe. You're absolutely right. Let's see here. They hate the Constitution. Yeah, they're correct. Military moving. Looking at some of the stuff you guys are saying. So I don't see many people having an issue here, praying for a hedge of protection around President Trump and his family and all his administration and their families. Yeah, especially this time of year. These people are crazy. Let me see what else we got here. Nope, there's nothing unconstitutional about this, Charlene says. The only this President Trump had to do was tell Congress he has to be out in 90 days, and that's exactly right. You can go in, do what you got to do, but you got to be out within 90 days unless you renew that. Good point. Very, very, very good point. Executive power finally being wielded with honor. Yeah, absolutely. So understand that's exactly, what I think is happening and how it's going to go. So we're going to find out in 21 minutes. So while we're waiting, I wanted to, some of the panicans that are out there screaming. And one of these panicans, well, let me go back. This was the resolution that the Democrats tried to sneak in at the 12th hour. House Democrats introduced a resolution to force the U.S. military to stand down against designated terrorist organizations. If you need any more clarification on whose side they're on, look no further. Over the last, 3-4 weeks, ever since the seditious six started saying the stuff that they were saying, you have seen over and over how these people would prefer you leave these people alone. They're not bad people. I got this video I started to show you earlier before President Trump came on. But this is Mark Kelly from, I think he's on Morning Joe.
These boats carry not fentanyl. I mean, they carry cocaine and these routes mostly take drugs to Europe and Western Africa. These operations are not making us more safe.
It's only cocaine. What's the big deal? Well, it's the big deal is if you don't, even if it's, they're coming across the water here, where are those waterways, Mr. Kelly? Senator Kelly, if they're coming off the coast of Venezuela, even if they're not going to the coast of the United States, where are they? What waterway are they in? Well, the answer to that question is the Western Hemisphere. And what President Trump is obviously doing is letting everybody know I am going to be protecting the Western Hemisphere. Seems like I know that. Seems like maybe some of you have been listening and read up on it, but our good senator and the idiots on Morning Joe don't seem to understand the Monroe Doctrine. And as far as I'm concerned, whether or not the yayo is coming here or going to England, are we just supposed to look the other way? Hey, it's just cocaine, man. It's just coke. What are we getting our panties in a bunch for? A actual sitting senator in the United States just said that. It makes no sense. And then he said this.
These boats carry not fentanyl. I mean, they carry cocaine and these routes mostly take drugs to Europe and Western.
Oh, yeah, that's the one you just heard. My bad. What I meant to do was push this one.
Joining me today, and we had a deeply unsatisfying briefing this morning with Secretaries Rubio and Hegseth. It asked more questions than it answered, and it was just, look, there is almost no transparency in this administration, and that reveals itself more than anything on revealing what happened on September 2nd. This morning I demanded in front of every senator, to Hegseth's face, that he let every senator see the unedited video of what happened on September 2nd. I've seen it. It turns your stomach.
Did it turn your stomach what you saw over the weekend, Chuck? Where some guys went to a beach in Australia and took target practice at people. Were you screaming about that? Were you screaming about the young girl in Brown University who got her life taken? Are you screaming about all this other stuff? Why are these people so worried about what's happening in Venezuela? Those aren't your constituents. He's protecting the country. And you're mad because bad guys met their ultimate demise? And you're trying to let us feel, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. I can't believe it. It's sickening to my stomach. How about all the people in Kensington, Pennsylvania, where you could just watch them walking around looking like, well, they ain't walking, but they're all bent over looking like zombies. Have you been to Kensington? Have you even seen the videos of the people in Kensington? I bet you if that was one of your relatives, you'd want every single ounce of fentanyl destroyed and make sure forever none ever comes back in this country. But, not the poor drug dealers.
It is awful, and people should see it. What the hell is Hegseth hiding? His excuse about classification? It's false, because any senator would see it in the skiff. Now, I believe with the proper safeguards, all the American people should see it. And why is this so important? It's important in itself to see if we were obeying the law. We're a law-abiding country. But it's also important because what's going on in the Caribbean is unprecedented. We've never seen anything like it before. And it could lead to another endless war.
No, it wouldn't lead to an endless war because Nobody's going to be able to contend with us. Maduro may try some stuff, but it will be quick. It ain't going to be endless. You didn't have that problem shipping $1 gazillion over to Ukraine. Nobody could even point Ukraine out on the map. Oh, we got to keep funding Ukraine. I don't even know where. Hey, show me on the map where it is. You guys can point it out, and I bet you can't. I can tell you where the Caribbean is. I can point right to the Caribbean and South America. I can see how close it is to the American shoreline. But you're more worried about Ukraine. You're more worried about giving them $1 gazillion instead of protecting Americans.
Disclosure, hearings, which our Republican Senate friends have refused to call, serve a purpose. They force the administration in public to answer very serious questions about where they're going. And so far, we've had no transparency. September 2nd is a first step, but we need a lot of transparency. So, when the truth is on your side, you don't hide the evidence.
Really? Ask Hillary. She won't go get her subpoena. She won't go for her deposition. How many people do we know just completely refuse to come to Congress? You didn't have a problem with Eric Holder not showing up. These people don't realize they've lost the plot. They've completely lost it. Yeah, we got people supposedly on our side saying we're in trouble in 2026 when these people are completely feckless. They have nothing. Nothing. Here was him earlier.
Okay, good morning. Look, I reiterated my demand of Secretary Hegseth in front of all 100 senators that he allow every senator to see the unedited version, the unedited video of what happened on September 2nd.
So I got to ask you, if you were to see the unedited video of, I don't know, the boat getting blown up and then getting hit again, does that stop you from eating dinner? What is wrong with these people to the point where they think that terrorists who are bringing drugs to this country, who are trying to cause people to be hooked on these pharmaceuticals, you don't care what's happening to them. You're trying to elicit sympathy for drug dealers, for drug smugglers. I'm sorry. I don't care if you show it to anybody you want. I look at it and go, bad guy's gone. That's what I think about it. I'm not looking to have compassion for someone who's looking to kill Americans. And make no doubt about it, that's exactly what they're doing. They're making money by sending drugs to Americans who are going to take these drugs, and they're going to take a hit of this or take a hit of that, and they're going to be, boom, they're going to drop. I don't have a problem with somebody in the water just getting blasted. And at this point, if you're getting blasted in the water after what you have seen repeatedly, maybe you're not that bright. Maybe your mission to send these drugs out is more. Your life isn't as important as getting these drugs out. If I saw that, hey, my friends, my buddies were getting blown up, perhaps I wouldn't bring these drugs to, in the water. But you can't with these people because all they do is try to make you feel bad.
I'd like to share with you my concerns about the individuals who've been killed, but I can't for the same reason. I'd like to share with you my concerns about the second strike that killed struggling survivors clinging to the shipwreck on September 2.
Struggling survivors. These poor struggling survivors. I don't like death. I don't wish death upon anybody, except if you're trying to kill Americans. And one of the problems that these Democrats are having, they're not recognizing, well, maybe these guys aren't standing on the shoreline or on a bridge taking shots at people, but they most assuredly are taking shots at people. Their weapon is different. Oh, it happens to be a weapon of mass destruction. So why do I care if it's a struggling survivor?
But I can't fully explain why this is so outrageous, because most of what I know from a classified setting. Unlike Senator Schumer, I've not seen the video yet.
You haven't even seen it and you're talking crap? If that's not just humorous, I don't know what is. He just spent like 30 seconds talking about how bad it was, but I haven't seen it yet. What are you talking about? Why are we watching this dog and pony show? And then this guy whose family was in the drug business.
So what do you think the response of the American people will be to what they're hearing tonight from you?
Well, hopefully they're pissed off. Hopefully they call the Republican senators and members of Congress and say that I don't want to go to war. But there's a reason why they're doing the way they're doing it. The reason they're slowly building up, saying we're going to go after these drug dealers first, then they're going after tankers, then they're going to close the airspace, then they're hoping Venezuela reacts in some hostile way to defend their own sovereignty, then we'll have to react, and then the president's going to come here and ask everyone to rally around the flag, and that's how we find ourselves in war. What I'm telling you is they're setting it all up to happen. Be aware. Be aware of what they're doing. They're slowly putting the pressure on Venezuela so they react, and so the American public gets used to us doing hostile acts.
But notice he's not talking about why it's happening. They're going to do this, they're going to do that, they're going to do this. Hey, man, we played war games. We understand what this process is. How about you address why it's happening? Why don't you address why Venezuela is being looked at the way it is? They don't want you to know those reasons. They don't want you to know about Smartmatic. They don't want you to know about the fentanyl. Notice he didn't mention any of that. Well, Trump's going to do this, and then he's going to do that, and then he's going to do this. But he didn't even go on the other side, and none of the people on the panel. Well, why? Why is Trump targeting Venezuela? See, that's where, the guilt by omission right there.
We went from putting sanctions to droning speedboats, and the American public hasn't reacted that bad. So what else are they going to continue doing until we finally find ourselves in war? But let's be clear. The goal of what they're doing right now is to get us into war. They're not going to be able to stop the drug trade. They're not effectively going to have to go after narcos in this way. At the end of the day, all they want to do is get rid of Maduro. And if they can get rid of Maduro through peaceful manner, they will. It's not working right now. If they trigger a war to happen, they'll gladly do it.
These people are terrified. These people, and understand, as he was sitting there on MS Now, whatever that means, as he's sitting on that panel, they already knew what they were doing. They had already put in place this War Times Act that they were going to try and do to stop President Trump. So they were pulling out the full court press to get out there and stop what's about to happen in about 6 minutes. They don't want President Trump to defend America, and they definitely don't want him going after Venezuela. Venezuela is probably at this point the keystone for the Democrat Party. Ukraine's basically done. That's not going to work. NGOs, U.S. aid, all that, it's all just been cranked down. And the only thing that they have left on a large scale, because internally, we're turning off the Social Security fraud, the Minnesota fraud. All this stuff is closing in on the Democrat Party. You know what's next, and what's next is going to be no voter. I mean, you got to have voter ID. You're going to have that. All this stuff is coming. You see, one of the things, I'm keeping an eye on things here. One of the things that I'm beginning to take a stance. I'm going to tell you something crazy. And so you guys will look back and say, Barry, on December 17th, you said something real crazy. Well, I'm hoping you guys listen up here. All the pollsters, all the panicans, everybody doing that stuff, I think is trying to dissuade and hurt people. When I saw this and it's a guy that I actually have followed for years, Mike Cernovich. Mike Cernovich says, we had our chance to save our country. People would rather do Vanity Fair interviews, podcasts, and meme coins. The suffering heading our way is immense and often leaves me with a deep sense of sadness. But God can now save. I saved Trump. I gave MAGA the office, and what of it? And then John says, he's right. Many of us saw this coming. We feared the end result, but we were attacked and called de-simps for not coordinating Trump. This is by design. You know, that's why, some people have tried to attack me, and because I'm having some clairvoyance here, and I want to tell you. You ready for it? Just as we're about to turn President Trump on. I think this election in 2026 is already over. That's what I'm going to tell you. You guys can think I'm crazy. I think the election is done. I think it's already in the bag. I think President Trump already knows it's over. How can it be? Well, let me just give you a couple different things for you to look at as you're about to see President Trump come out here. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Between Elon Musk getting back in the fold, the candidates that are running are going to have whatever money they need. That's huge. Number two, by the time 2026 comes around, there are going to be a bunch of people arrested. Count on it. By the time November 2026 comes around, the economy is going to be doing so much better. By the time November 2026 comes around, we will have seen voter ID being federal law. When you start putting all this together, and you start saying, okay, in addition to all the deportations, tell me how the Democrats can possibly win with all of that a headwind in front of them. How many votes are they going to lose just with deportation? How many votes are they going to lose with arrests? How many votes are they going to lose if people are afraid to come out and go shopping? If they're afraid to go work on a job site, they're going to be terrified to go vote. The Democrats can't survive without the newcomers voting or voting a number of times. So when you put all that together, because you all know it, you've seen it, you've seen the videos of them not going to work, you've seen the grocery stores being empty, they're not showing up. Plus the other ones that are being deported. So tell me, how are they going to win when you put voter ID in place as well? You see, I think some of these early races were tests. I think they wanted to see, how are they still going to try this or that? Barry, I might be bat poop crazy. You might say I'm nuts, but I think it's already over. I think it's already done. And I think this, I don't know, well, did I tell you that yesterday they sued Smartmatic? So they're chipping away at all of these things that the Democrats need. And the biggest thing that the Democrats need is money. I was given a more clairvoyant look when I saw what President Trump said about Rob Reiner. Again, if you listen to this man and what he says, he's giving you the opportunity to understand what he's going to be doing and what he knows. Notice how the whole Epstein thing kind of went fizzled. It was fake. And they know it at this point that they can't stop him. And if they can't stop him, and if he's able to do voter ID, which I think he will be, they're done. You don't have to take any polls. How many percent do you have to lose for you to be non-competitive in the national races and in the state races? How many? What's the percentage? 3%? 4%? 8%? And now if you put voter ID, how many percent do you think will drop out of the race? I mean, drop out of voting because they realize they've been caught. And you have no money, and you're not offering anybody anything. The only thing that's going on right now are people online trying to influence people into thinking Trump is in big trouble. That's my hypothesis. He's probably getting ready to come up here any second. So I'm going to basically turn on, Jesse Waters is on right now. So I'll put this on. So he's probably going to be prompt. He's probably going to walk right out. So let's do a little pre-funking.
Picture, the signature,
Anything. Yes, we can expect that. Kaylee, great to see you as always. Thank you so much. And we'll see you in Arizona. And we're also very
Thank you.
sorry,
See you in Arizona.
those of you who are really dying to see the Survivor finale. Instead, we're going to turn it over to Sean Hannity, who's going to have the president speaking live from the White House right about now.
And welcome to Hannity. And tonight we are broadcasting live from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., where at any moment the president of our country, the USA, Donald J. Trump, will deliver a primetime address to the nation. We are told there will be multiple major developments in this speech, and we'll take you to the White House as it is happening. But make no mistake, big things are underway in America, both here at home and abroad. We begin tonight with a quick preview of tonight's address with our very own Aisha Hasni is with us. Aisha, what's the preview?
Sean, good evening to you. We can expect the economy and affordability to be a big part of tonight's speech. The president himself previewing it earlier this evening, saying that he's going to be talking about how he inherited this mess from his predecessor, but that his economic policies are working. So you'll likely hear about how he's tackling inflation, how he's helping farmers, how he's unleashing American energy. He'll tout the incoming tax cuts from his big, beautiful bill. Basically, the White House is telling Americans they'll be able to afford more once they have more money in their pocketbooks in the new year. The president may also talk about how he's secured the southern border and his foreign policy wins as well. But his allies certainly want him to focus on how he's making a life better here at home. Sean?
All right, Aisha, thank you. Now, we do expect the president will be using graphs.
Good evening, America. 11 months ago, I inherited a mess, and I'm fixing it. When I took office, inflation was the worst in 48 years. And some would say in the history of our country, which caused prices to be higher than ever before, making life unaffordable for millions and millions of Americans. This happened during a Democrat administration, and it's when we first began hearing the word affordability. Our border was open, and because of this, our country was being invaded by an army of 25 million people, many who came from prisons and jails, mental institutions, and insane asylums. They were drug dealers, gang members, and even 11,888 murderers, more than 50% of whom killed more than one person. This is what the Biden administration allowed to happen to our country, and it can never be allowed to happen again. We had men playing in women's sports, transgender for everybody, crime at record levels with law enforcement, and words such as that just absolutely forbidden. We had the worst trade deals ever made, and our country was laughed at from all over the world. But they're not laughing anymore. Over the past 11 months, we have brought more positive change to Washington than any administration in American history. There's never been anything like it, and I think most would agree. I was elected in a landslide, winning the popular vote and all 7 swing states and everything else, with a mandate to take on a sick and corrupt system that really just took the wealth from people and crushed the dreams of the American people. For the last 4 years, the United States was ruled by politicians who fought only for insiders, illegal aliens, career criminals, corporate lobbyists, prisoners, terrorists, and above all, foreign nations, which took advantage of us at levels never seen before. They flooded your cities and towns with illegal aliens. They decimated your hard-earned savings. They indoctrinated your children with hate for America. They just released a level of violent felons that we had never seen to prey on innocent. They caused war. They caused mayhem. They caused a horrible situation all over the globe. But now you have a president who fights for the law-abiding, hardworking people of our country, the ones who make this nation run, who make this nation work. And after just 1 year, we have achieved more than anyone could have imagined. Starting on day one, I took immediate action to stop the invasion of our southern border. For the past 7 months, 0 illegal aliens have been allowed into our country, a feat which everyone said was absolutely impossible. Do you remember when Joe Biden said that he needed Congress to pass legislation to help close the border? He was always blaming Congress and everyone else. As it turned out, we didn't need legislation. We just needed a new president. We inherited the worst border anywhere in the world, and we quickly turned it into the strongest border in the history of our country. In other words, in a few short months, we went from worst to best. We're deporting criminals, restoring safety to our most dangerous cities. Just take a look at Washington, D.C. It's at levels of safety that we've never seen before. And they decimated the bloodthirsty foreign drug cartels. We did that all by ourselves with our people, and we're so proud of it because they were poisoning and destroying our population. Drugs brought in by ocean and by sea are now down 94%. We have broken the grip of sinister woke radicals in our schools, and control over those schools is back now in the hands of our great and loving states where education belongs. After rebuilding the United States military in my first term, and with the addition we are adding right now, we have the most powerful military anywhere in the world, and it's not even close. I've restored American strength, settled 8 wars in 10 months, destroyed the Iran nuclear threat, and ended the war in Gaza, bringing for the first time in 3,000 years peace to the Middle East, and secured the release of the hostages, both living and dead. Here at home, we're bringing our economy back from the brink of ruin. The last administration and their allies in Congress looted our treasury for trillions of dollars, driving up prices and everything at levels never seen before. I am bringing those high prices down and bringing them down very fast. Let's look at the facts. Under the Biden administration, car prices rose 22% and in many states 30% or more. Gasoline rose 30 to 50%. Hotel rates rose 37%. Airfares rose 31%. Now under our leadership, they are all coming down and coming down fast. Democrat airfares rose 31%. Now under our leadership, they are all coming down and coming down fast. Democrat politicians also sent the cost of groceries soaring, but we are solving that too. The price of a Thanksgiving turkey was down 33% compared to the Biden last year. The price of eggs is down 82% since March, and everything else is falling rapidly. And it's not done yet, but boy, are we making progress. Nobody can believe what's going on. Here are just some of the efforts that we have underway. You will see in your wallets and bank accounts in the new year. After years of record-setting falling incomes, our policies are boosting take-home pay at a historic pace. Under Biden, real wages plummeted by $3,000. Under Trump, the typical factory worker has seen a wage increase of $1,300. For construction workers, it's $1,800. For miners, we're bringing back clean, beautiful coal. It's $3,300. And for the first time in years, wages are rising much faster than inflation. Remember that. The wages, just look at it. Wages are going up much faster than inflation. How big is that? Very importantly, there are more people working today than at any time in American history, and 100% of all jobs created since I took office have been in the private sector. Think of that. 100% of all jobs have been in the private sector rather than government, which is the only way to make a country powerful and great. This historic trend will continue. Already, I've secured a record-breaking $18 trillion of investment into the United States, which means jobs, wage increases, growth, factory openings, and far greater national security. Much of this success has been accomplished by tariffs. My favorite word, tariffs, which for many decades have been used successfully by other countries against us, but not anymore. Companies know that If they build in America, there are no tariffs. And that's why they're coming home to the USA in record numbers. They're building factories and plants at levels we haven't seen, AI, automobiles. We're doing what nobody thought was even possible, not even remotely possible. There has never, frankly, been anything like it. 1 year ago, our country was dead. We were absolutely dead. Our country was ready to fail, totally failed. Now, we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. And that's said by every single leader that I've spoken to over the last 5 months. Next year, you will also see the results of the largest tax cuts in American history that were really accomplished through our great, big, beautiful bill, perhaps the most sweeping legislation ever passed in Congress. We wrapped 12 different bills up into one beautiful bill. That includes no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. Under these cuts, many families will be saving between $11,000 and $20,000 a year, and next spring is projected to be the largest tax refund season of all time. Because of tariffs, along with the just passed One Big Beautiful Bill, tonight I am also proud to announce that more than 1,450,000, think of this, 1,450,000 military service members will receive a special, we call Warrior Dividend before Christmas, a Warrior Dividend. In honor of our nation's founding in 1776, we are sending every soldier $1,776. Think of that. And the checks are already on the way. Nobody understood that one until about 30 minutes ago. We made a lot more money than anybody thought because of tariffs, and the bill helped us along. Nobody deserves it more than our military, and I say congratulations to everybody. And by the way, we now have record enlistment in our military, and last year we had among the worst recruitment numbers in our military's history. What a difference a year makes. In addition, I'm doing what no politician of either party has ever done, standing up to the special interests to dramatically reduce the price of prescription drugs. I negotiated directly with the drug companies and foreign nations, which were taking advantage of our country for many decades, to slash prices on drugs and pharmaceuticals by as much as 400, 500, and even 600%. In other words, your drug costs will be plummeting downward. And I used the threat of tariffs to get foreign countries who would never have done it to pay the cost of this giant dollar reduction. They stopped ripping us off, and it began as of 4 days ago. There has never been anything like this in the history of our country. Drugs have only gone up, but now they'll be going down by numbers never conceived possible. It's called Most Favored Nation. And no president has ever had the courage or ability to get this done until now. The first of these unprecedented price reductions will be available starting in January through a new website, TrumpRx.gov. And these big price cuts will greatly reduce the cost of health care. I'm also taking on the gigantic health insurance companies that have gotten rich on billions of dollars of money that should go directly to the people. The money should go to the people. That's you. So they can buy their own health insurance, which will give far better benefits at much lower costs. It will be far better health insurance. The current Unaffordable Care Act was created to make insurance companies rich. It was bad health care at much too high a cost. And you see that now in the steep increase in premiums being demanded by the Democrats, and they are demanding those increases, and it's their fault. It is not the Republicans' fault. It's the Democrats' fault. It's the Unaffordable Care Act, and everybody knew it. Again, I want the money to go directly to the people so you can buy your own health care. You'll get much better health care at a much lower price. The only losers will be insurance companies that have gotten rich, and the Democrat Party, which is totally controlled by those same insurance companies. They will not be happy, but that's okay with me because you, the people, are finally going to be getting great health care at a lower cost. Another major focus is the cost of energy. For years, the radical left Democrats exploited the green energy scam as an excuse to funnel many billions of dollars into their own massive slush funds as their energy restrictions drastically drove up prices, and they drove them up at record levels. Electricity costs surged 30 to 100% under Biden, and the typical family lost $5,000 to $10,000 in higher energy costs. Think of that, $5,000 to $10,000 you lost. On day one, I declared a national energy emergency. Gasoline is now under $2.50 a gallon in much of the country. In some states, it, by the way, just hit $1.99 a gallon. And within the next 12 months, we will have opened 1,600 new electrical generating plants, a record, and it's a record that won't be beaten by practically, I would say, by anybody, or certainly not very soon. Prices on electricity and everything else will fall dramatically. The Democrat inflation disaster, again, the worst in the history of our country, also robbed millions of Americans of home ownership and indeed the American dream. The yearly cost of a typical new mortgage increased by $15,000 under Democrat rule. In 11 months, we've already gotten that annual cost down by $3,000, and it's coming down a lot lower. Wait till you see. The numbers are going to be shocking. And I'll soon announce our next chairman of the Federal Reserve, someone who believes in lower interest rates by a lot, and mortgage payments will be coming down even further. Early the new year, and you will see this, in the new year, I will announce some of the most aggressive housing reform plans in American history. A major factor in driving up housing costs was the colossal border invasion. We have never been invaded. This is the worst thing that, frankly, in my opinion, the worst thing that the Biden administration did to our country is the invasion at the border. The last administration and their allies in Congress brought in millions and millions of migrants and gave them taxpayer-funded housing while your rent and housing costs skyrocketed. Over 60% of growth in the rental market came from foreign migrants. At the same time, illegal aliens stole American jobs and flooded emergency rooms, getting free health care and education paid for by you, the American taxpayer. They also increased the cost of law enforcement by numbers so high that they are not even to be mentioned. For the first time in 50 years, we are now seeing reverse migration as migrants go back home, leaving more housing and more jobs for Americans. In the year before my election, all net creation of jobs was going to foreign migrants. Since I took office, 100% of all net job creation has gone to American-born citizens, 100%. In the end, government either serves the productive, patriotic, hardworking American citizen, or it serves those who break the laws, cheat the system, and seek power and profit at the expense of our nation. Look at Minnesota, where Somalians have taken over the economics of the state and have stolen billions and billions of dollars from Minnesota and indeed from the United States of America. And we're going to put an end to it. For so long as before my election, the vast majority of good and decent Americans were forced to watch as corrupt politicians plundered the halls of power, exploited our taxpayers, and pillaged every system that makes civilized society function. But not anymore, and you see that every day, not anymore. We're putting America first, and we are making America great again. Very simple. We are making America great again. Tonight, after 11 months, our border is secure. Inflation is stopped. Wages are up. Prices are down. Our nation is strong. America is respected, and our country is back, stronger than ever before. We're poised for an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen. Soon we will host the World Cup and the Olympics, both of which I got. But most importantly, we will celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. There could be no more fitting tribute to this epic milestone than to complete the comeback of America that began just 1 year ago. When the world looks at us next year, let them see a nation that is loyal to its citizens, faithful to its workers, confident to its identity, certain to its destiny, and the envy of the entire globe. We are respected again like we have never been respected before. To each and every one of you, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. God bless you all.
All right, that was President Trump live from the White House with a major address.
Well, he didn't do it. He did not announce anything towards Venezuela. Doesn't mean that we won't hear something tonight or tomorrow, but wow, he was very forceful. I'm sure the Democrats are going to come out with some sort of response saying he was mean, but, you know, very forceful, putting out the numbers, and the charts were fantastic. But let's listen into what the panel has to say here, because I'd love to know what they have to say.
He focused on putting more money in people's pockets, and as you heard him tonight, focused on affordability. We have reversed the direction of this country dramatically. On the border is now secure. On energy, we're now energy dominant. On taxes, we prevented a $4 trillion tax increase that the Democrats were promoting, and on national security, it is now peace through strength. He inherited, and we inherited as Republicans, a country that was weaker, poorer, less safe, and we said we need to provide safety and prosperity. We've done that. The president talked about this major piece of legislation that we passed, the working families tax cuts. There are things in that for everyone. Tax cuts as well. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. These things are all going to continue to put more money in people's pockets, and they really go into place in 2026. So next year is going to be better than this year.
Senator Britt, I'd look at this and break it into categories.
Yeah.
The mess he was left, all that he's done, the difference, and comparing and contrasting, and I thought they very effectively used these charts tonight.
Absolutely.
And I think they speak loudly to the American people, because there's always an impatience. But his entire tax plan has not even gone into effect yet.
Hasn't even gone into effect yet. That's exactly right. And you look at the contrast. I mean, that was outstanding. And you said it during the break. We talked about it. President Otto Penn, that just left office, could have never done that. He very clearly said to the American people, I see you. And look at the things that we've done. What he has accomplished in just these first 10, 11 months is remarkable. But I think more is yet to come. Look, as a parent, I think about this. He secured our border. He did it. We passed the Lake and Riley Act. It's actually the first immigration enforcement law that we've passed in like 30 years. In addition to that, he has taken on fentanyl. How many kids are going to have to die before we actually take it serious? President Trump said, I'm not talking about it. I am doing something about it. We've seen it from the border to what he's done with Venezuela. And then you look at no men and women's sports. Look, I have a daughter who plays volleyball, who plays basketball. I want her to have a fair opportunity to compete on that court. And President Trump gave her that. You want them to feel safe in the locker room, and you want them to have opportunity in the arena. And he changed the dynamic on that. Look, we could go on and on. He talked about no indoctrination. We've said we want our kids to be educated, not indoctrinated. He has said our Department of Education is failing our next generation. And he's not just going to talk about it, he's going to do something. And tonight he laid out for the American people not only what he has done, but he has said there is more to come. It's things like the Trump accounts, Sean. Look, as a new parent, if your child is born during the Trump administration, you're going to get one.
I know most of you guys don't want to see Lindsey Graham because I don't know what Lindsey's going to say. But in any event, I think that was a very, very, very forceful speech. I think the Democrats, perfect in terms of the Democrats are on recess. They can't, who knows if they're going to be able to even respond. Laid it out, the charts, we need to find those charts. That the White House needs to set them out so we all can have them and look at these things in clear view. You know, these are the things the media has not been telling us. It won't satisfy the panicants. Understand that. The panicants are still going to bitch and moan. Here comes Lindsey. Let's see what Lindsey has to say.
Personal investment he has had in world conflicts to bring peace in the Middle East, but also around the globe. Peace in Europe, still working on that deal. How he inherited a mess, all the changes he's put in place, closed the borders, bringing back, restoring law and order. This city is, Exhibit A, right? Lower taxes, largest tax cut in American history, energy dominant policies, which I think everybody will be impacted by. Again, no tax tips, overtime, Social Security. There's a lot in this speech.
Well, the headline for me is when he says the best is yet to come, he made a case to make that believable. The trend lines are all going in the right direction. In 2022, gas was almost $5 per gallon. In December this year, it's the lowest it's been since 2021. The trend lines are going in the right direction in terms of gas prices. In terms of energy, Biden canceled the XL pipeline. He stopped new leases to find American-owned oil and gas. Trump has reversed that. In July of this year, the most oil produced in a day in America, we hit that number in July of 2025. A 25% increase of exporting natural gas, which is good for domestic markets here. So the bottom line is these charts tell you that the trend lines on energy, on housing cost are going in the right direction. And if we stay with these policies, we do another reconciliation bill, be patient, help is on the way. Simple explanation of housing. If 12 million people come into your country legally in a 4-year period and they're not sleeping in the streets, they're staying in hotels, they're staying in apartments paid for by your government, and the Biden administration won't let you build new houses because you can't cut down a tree, then housing prices are going to go up. What is Trump doing different than Biden? He's kicking people out, and he's unleashing the ability to build a house in America. So mortgage rates are coming down, housing supply is going to go up, gas production is at an all-time high. So the trend lines are real. Mr. President, you just did not say the best is yet to come. You proved to the American people that when it comes to their prosperity and security, by this time next year, you will see a major difference.
That's exactly what I've been saying. That was what he just said, and what President Trump said is exactly what I asked Mark Mitchell. And I'll keep saying it. When I asked him, these polls, whoever you're calling, these polls are taking a snapshot that day. Those polls are literally limited to what's happening in somebody's life today. And you're comparing that to other presidents who really didn't do much. And you know, or you should know, that the big, beautiful bill that was passed, it's not a pipe dream, it's actually been passed, takes effect in 2026. All the no tax things, tips, overtime, Social Security, all of that begins in January. The bonus to the troops, 1776. Gas prices, all of this is starting to happen. And so I don't know how you could poll somebody based on things today when you know so much is going to happen in the next 10 or 11 months. It was all designed this way. I almost felt like President Trump has been playing rope-a-dope. I don't know if you guys remember Ali and Frazier fighting, and he just put his hands up like that, and he let Joe Frazier punch him, sort of like the media. Let me just keep punching him until he couldn't punch anymore. And then he dropped it and countered and took out Frazier. And it became, folklore, the rope-a-dope. Yeah, I'm going to let you pound me. I'm going to and then you can't pound me anymore. And now watch what happens. And so I don't see anybody. And I even asked Mark this question. Have you asked the question, if you have X amount more dollars in your bank account in April, are you going to feel better about Trump? If the gas prices, if your grocery prices, if all these things happen, are you going to feel different? Of course you will. Of course you will. They just passed the law. The law goes into effect. Earlier today, Scott Bessent, we talked about that, the savings accounts and how you can do this stuff for kids growing up. All of this stuff was loaded for 2026. And so you can't possibly poll people today. And then the whole thing with the boomers are not allowing people to buy properties and stuff. Lindsay, as much as many people don't like him, explained it perfectly. your housing supply was oversaturated with people who weren't supposed to be here being paid by you. So if you bring in millions of people, those people have to live somewhere. Those people will go someplace to get money to live. And they're taking residences from other Americans. I love this guy, so I got to hear what he has to say. This is, what's his name? Charles.
Food price increases, decreases. You also talked about real wages that, went down under Biden. They've since gone up. And again, the one big beautiful bill, all those tax provisions have not even fully taken effect yet.
Yeah, almost line by line, if you look at all the things that make headlines, whether it was the beginning of the year and then people were complaining about, eggs, for instance. Those prices started to rise 2 years earlier under Biden, and they started to rise pretty rapidly. Right now, electricity. And I really worry about this one, Sean, because we need these data centers that President Trump is back significantly if we're going to remain the preeminent nation in the world, not just now, but for the next 50 years. And the Democrats are making that a political talking point, and that's going to hurt a lot of communities that push back against it. But these electricity prices, they went up significantly. They went up 70% under Biden because he went to war with energy. He went to war with energy. It's amazing to see a state like New Jersey, where you had a governor's race over electricity when the Democratic governor shut down electricity operations, including nuclear power plants. But again, item by item, I don't care what it is, all of it went up under Joe Biden because he flooded the country with cash. He flooded the country with cash for one specific reason. Ultimately, he knew it would end up in the pockets of his donors, the top 1%. And that's exactly what happened. All America was left with was a T-shirt that says, I'm in a runaway inflation and can't get out of it. It's a tall order for President Trump, but all the pieces are in place. And here's the thing. I just want to real quick. This is from Goldman Sachs, a top executive analyst there. And I just got to tell you, because you want sort of third party kind of thing, right? In 2026, we expect more constructive U.S. consumer backdrop, especially middle income, given a pickup in real income growth aided by job growth, tax cuts, fading tariff-related inflation. All of these things are in place. We are expecting a gangbuster year in 2026, a noticeable year where almost every American will feel it, and it will feel really good. And those who are naysayers who are doubting this, whether it's political or you just don't believe America can do it anymore, you're going to see it.
I've been telling you, you're going to see it. We've been seeing it. I don't know if you're following gold and silver. Silver's up to like $66 an ounce. It's going gangbusters. So this ride is going to be amazing in 2026. I don't know what people need to understand about that. He just outlined it perfectly. I don't have anything to give a punctuation or exclamation mark. It's about to happen. We're going to get through Christmas. Wait till you see the retail numbers for Christmas. Wait till you see, if the economy is so bad, wait till you see the retail numbers. It's going to be crazy, absolutely crazy. All right, so I'm going to get out of here. I know you guys have had a long day, and I thank you. And Rhonda says, yeah, 2026 is going to be so great. When you look up True Patriot, you will see a picture of President Trump. The leftist media news should be taken off the air immediately. Also, to that end, Brendan Carr did a interview today. I'm going to cut that for tomorrow's show, as he was talking about different things with the FCC. So we'll see some of that come in. So hopefully we'll go to bed tonight, and we'll come up, and hopefully we won't be at war. But if we are, then so be it. Charles is still talking, and I think he's done. Let me see.
Christmas and a Happy New Year. We appreciate you being with us.
All right, so yeah, he's done too. All right, he's done. Trump's done. I'm done. See you guys tomorrow. Before I go, let me do super chats. I'm fired up. I am so fired up for what he just did. I can't wait to see what the lefties are going to say about that. They're going to actually fight prosperity. Watch them. Watch them as they fight prosperity, as they do everything they possibly can to tell you you shouldn't be prosperous. You shouldn't be capitalist. You shouldn't be accepting all these things from everybody. Oh, wait a minute. Before, I got to take this guy. Sorry. I don't know how y'all feel, but I love me some Newt Gingrich. He's so smart.
I followed your 5 years as Speaker. The last one to balance the budget. You did it 4 years in a row. The Democrats have been screaming affordability. Things, according to all these charts, seem to be turning around rather dramatically. Where will we be in 6 months from now at the end of the second quarter?
Well, look, I think that we're going to see a choice in 2026 between a Trump boom and the Democrats' gloom. Literally that wide. I think the president's right. And again, I'm a disciple of Art Laffer and others. I believe in supply side economics. You look at the trillions of dollars the president's brought into the country in investment. You look at the trillions he has sold of American products. You look at the impact of the tariffs. You look at the impact of the One Big Beautiful Bill and all the different tax changes. I would be shocked if we did not have a roaring economy by July of next year. And I think that's going to wash away an amazing amount of the news media's effort to, frankly, talk badly about America. I mean, the elite media, the Democratic propaganda media, has done everything it could to hide reality. Just take the price of gasoline. When you start having states that are below $2 a gallon, and you think about what people used to say the price would inevitably be, when you see the big auto companies all going back to producing internal combustion engines, because guess what? That's what their consumers want to buy. I see so many good things, but I'll tell you, we've known each other a long time. To watch President Trump give a 19-minute disciplined speech that covered that many facts was worthy of Ronald Reagan. That was a good speech. It was an important speech. Someday people will say it was one of the most important speeches of his career because it set the table for the entire debate over the next year and laid out what Biden did to make the country a disaster, what Trump has already done, and where we are going in general and why that's the right direction. I think it's a very, very important speech.
I thought it was.
I completely agree. 100% agree. It was forceful. He looked right into the camera. Maybe his pacing was a little too fast for people to take all that data in that he threw out there. Because he was moving. He was pumped. He was just running with it. I don't know if someone was running his teleprompter. They're probably like, slow down, bro. He was on it. So they can go ahead and tear it apart. But the one thing they can't tear apart is what is going to happen. When people begin experiencing prosperity, once they begin experiencing it, you can't tell them they're not. See, that's the funniest thing. Right now, they're trying to tell people things are bad because it hasn't happened for the most part. But wait until you see what happens. SB says I got a late super chat. I haven't even started the super chat yet. You must chill. Okay, let me get to the super chats. All right, Fikowski, if I remember correctly, someone said he is not a quitter. Fikowski, gentlemen, Barry, start your engine. Let's win. Oh, we're gonna win. Did I not play it?
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
And it's funny when I look at this stuff and I realize, and this is something I want you to take away from tonight. You ready? The Democrats have no answer. Just remember that as you're going through your day tomorrow and tonight. The Democrats have no answer. All they can do is try to denigrate him. All they can do is try to say it won't work. They can't offer anything to anybody in regards to what he's doing. They haven't been able to. It's just not what they do. They're all doomsayers. They're not going to tell people, oh, things are going to get better. They can't. It's completely out of the realm of being a Democrat. Because you can do it right now. You can think to yourself, when's the last time you've heard a Democrat say something that was going to do good for your life? That's all I got to do. I can challenge you on that one. When's the last time you've heard any Democrat speak to you about making your life better? I'll wait. Doesn't happen. Maybe the po peoples, they want to give and give and give your money to other people, but what are they giving to you? What are they providing to you? And I don't think President Trump's giving me anything. He's giving us opportunity. Go get the opportunity yourself. Get everything out of the way. Make the gas cheaper. Make taxes less. I'll go make my own money. Just stop taking it. And that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. Whew, I'm pumped. I'm pumped. All right. Fakowski, gentlemen, start your engines. Let's win. Yes. Cutting edge. Biden gave away all the rights of the oil of the USA, and that's what he's talking about. He's going to go get it. Chiosop, more worried about the Democrats and newcomers causing problems here than Maduro there. Yeah, I believe that's what we're going to have to see. I believe we are going to see people become activated. I believe we're going to see more and more violence. That's who they are. FB, I thank you for all the hard work you put in, bringing us a great show. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you. James Hammond, whatever he announces tonight, I'm ready. I just hope it is more sweeping than I hope it is. That was very sweeping. I don't think, now that he knows he can do what he wants, like I said earlier, I don't think you want to announce to people that we're going to do something until maybe after it hits. Just remember what happened in Iran. Quiet, 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 boom. Then he came out and talked. Buddy Sanders, trying to find out how all these people became so rich so fast. District of corruption. Cutting edge again. The Venezuelan people are going to have the best gift for Christmas. Well, get rid of Maduro. Randall Young, I worked in a ship repair yard. Those boats would never make an ocean trip. Oh, you mean the speedboats at the drug dealers? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they weren't heading to England. He's so full of crap. Thomas Staten, go get them, Trump. Kick their butts. I'm with you, brother. Yes. Fakowski, Barry the Grandmaster Visionary. No. Josh, Savannah, will you marry me? Who's Savannah? Savannah getting a pitch. Josh doing stuff. She said yes. Oh, where's Savannah? Oh, my goodness. Who is Savannah? But congratulations. I wish we knew what was going on. Betty Black, thank you. Armando A-Rod, thank you for always being on the right side of MAGA. I ain't going nowhere. You won't see me turning around. You won't see me saying negative stuff. I got too much invested in this. I know what he wants to do. Chiosop, we need to be touting all these accomplishments and points to get the message out with President Trump, social media and in person. Completely. That's why I can't wait to go find those charts. I'm sure they're out someplace right now. I'll download them. I'll have them. Chiosop again. Maduro just changed his Biden diaper and put on Omar's head he was watching. Oh my goodness. Nikki, I don't think we will hear about Venezuela until boots are on the ground. Top secret, so they do not see it coming. I agree. Nathan Hardcastle, boy, Lindsay was lowballing the immigration network. Yeah, he was. Yes, indeed, he was. Howard Stanley, thank you. Liz Rancor, bought silver at 52 2 months ago. You've got me watching the silver prices every day, and I'm loving what I'm seeing. Thanks, Barry. Listening to you made me pull the trigger to buy. And don't be hasty to sell it. Remember, don't speculate with it. Just hold on to it. See where it goes. Kevin said he thinks it's going to go to 100. Kevin McDemerit, founder of Lear Capital. Mobile Tech, why would companies want to lower their prices if people have already been used to paying these prices? The news stations are just debunking Trump's speech. Of course they're going to debunk it. Of course they will. To your question, why would companies want to lower their price? Easy. That's an easy question. Prices are based upon supply and demand. If you go to X store and they've got a bag of potato chips and they want $3, and you go to Y store and it's $1.50, well, what do you got to do? You got to buy it from this other store. Supply and demand. It's very simple. Robert Mannings, thank you. And hey, Neo, hi, Barry and team. Thank you for sharing Trump's speech. Trust with him, with my money. He will be we all will be in 2026. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out tonight, as well as the earlier show. If you were here, I think we got great things coming. I'm pretty psyched. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. Just to let you know, there's probably, I would say Thursday, they'll probably post it in 20 minutes or so, but I'm thinking Caroline Leavitt will be doing a press conference, especially after what President Trump just did tonight. So I would almost count on a press conference tomorrow at 1 o'clock. We shall see. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow night.
First Noel, the angels did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in a fields where they lay, keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. Looked up and saw a star shining in the east, beyond them far, and to the earth it gave great light, and so it continued both day and night. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. so tender and mild. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight stillness lay to hear the angels sing. Still through the cloven skies they come with peaceful wings unfurled, and still nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. I ask thee to stay close by me forever.